Call to order at 4:07. So first order of business is minutes. So can I get a motion to approve the attached minutes or the minutes that were sent to us and are on the screen?
Different agenda.
Yes, you're the only ones. It's just a
So,
motion. All right, I'm gonna second. Any discussion when you're all right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, so we're gonna go right into the website updates. Go ahead, Devin, anything?
nothing too crazy. We just updated the project status on the homepage about the results of the referendum since our last meeting. And we took down some of the Q&A about those more specific to the referendum.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the only changes we have at this point. I think we're going to try to add some more of the renderings back onto the website. But otherwise, that's all changes we have.
Okay. From a Q&A perspective, I think Kat and I talked briefly, I don't know if she shared with you, we did take some stuff down, but without what we do is that would be something we would build kind of dynamically as we hear additional information. So rather than us trying to rack our brains on what do we put up there, let's respond to what we're hearing and put anything up there that would be useful for the rest of the committee members, anybody else to refer people back to. So it's definitely limited in scope right now, and we'll manage it that way for general knowledge. Q&A questions, newsletter obviously covers a lot of stuff, so I think we can handle it that way.
Yeah, I remember we always discussed it between the newsletter and the website, where a website can talk about more immediate things,
Right.
maybe on a monthly basis.
Right, exactly,
And where the newsletter is highlighting major stuff.
yes.
And that's why I was asking about, it's a concrete been poured, once the, superstructure going in, those are kind,
Yeah.
and that might tie to, we put a calendar of dates in, so people at that point, and that might help you out, Devin, with getting a photograph. And therefore saying, here's this concrete was poured during this time, this one, steel, some superstructure is going up, which is, because I was just mentioned to Meg that this is a great opportunity for education, what it takes to put up a building. Because we did this in Wyndham and it was really beneficial where people understand all the rules and regulations, not that they have to go into minutia, but what it takes to put up a building like this, why this process was so long, what it takes other than passing the referendums. And so now's a case where if you can put milestones together, we should go back and look at that calendar. So, because that calendar originally is very general.
Very general, it's like huge.
So are we going into phases? Is it going to be phase one? Is this getting certain things phase two? Are you bringing it down that way, or is it just a matter of?
No, it's broken out by area. This phase two is the new high school, and then the following phase will be will be the demolition with the Board of Ed.
I know you have that master calendar. Has that been updated? I haven't seen it. Lists all the, what you're managing all the way through the project in terms of dates and activities.
From the last summer update. Yeah, we haven't updated that, but we could provide a milestone, like a milestone update.
Yeah, maybe we could simplify that, put it on the website, Devin. So, and then when it reaches that, you can then have a photograph that goes out and says, this space is done. So I remember we did that one of the earliest newsletters for the referendum. We had down done, check, this is done. And then we had some sort of image with it.
Yeah. I think we can do that.
Something that we can.
Yeah, the superintendent sent me over the latest renderings from the architect. I assume you have those, Devin, too?
Yep.
So are we going to put those up too?
We are, yeah, we plan to put those back onto the website and, kind of just populate with some of those renderings.
Yeah, and needs a little more description on those things too. That's what I would suggest is that let's just get the master calendar about deadlines and or tasks or actions that are taken. And then at that point, Devin, you can then do a photo or something, say this is done, the footing and this, and with a little short explanation, why footings. I know it sounds busy, but I'm telling you, in the long run, people appreciate it when they're learning about what it takes.
Okay.
To do it. I know we don't really have to do anything. You got everything you need, but for next projects and budgets, people can accuse that we're not keeping you informed. Since, we went through all that process for 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
to get it here.
yeah,
So it sounds like from a communication with cadence perspective, for these project updates, at least right now, it would be less on a time basis, more on a time, on a,
time and task. It's kind of time and activity, whatever you want.
but it's more activity based, meaning it's not like we're gonna have an update every month. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
it's just an activity based when something is completed or something in progress.
Okay,
And therefore you can say it, and so it keeps people going to the site.
Yeah. Yeah.
And saying, here's where we are, because the newsletter is just fixed, which is a highlight of here's what happened from previous months.
okay,
That's what, and then what's going forward, that's how we use the newsletter. And if there's any, has there been any change to the renderings at all, or they're pretty much where they've been since the beginning?
That would.
I mean, I haven't seen
There
it.
hasn't been. any
I see some new ones.
renderings Because all the arguments have been
I think it's great.
approved, so it's basically what's shown on the drawings is, so, but I don't control the renderings.
I know we asked, Michael for a couple of new ones to get to Kathy for the newsletter.
Yes, yeah, which is.
So- I don't know where those are. I know we asked for them though.
Yeah.
Is there a big sign gonna go up front with the rendering of the building that may no one use there?
We're gonna be
We
doing a
talked about
project
that.
sign we're gonna be doing a project sign that's stipulated by the state of Connecticut. It's not gonna have a rendering.
Can we put a rendering up there, a big one that we use all the time?
We could, that'd be a separate sign because it gets busy with the state of Connecticut seal, the governor,
Oh,
you know,
School- no, I would
the chairman.
Yeah.
School construction is pretty particular with the signs
They
that we
need to,
put up,
or
right?
we can always put a separate one.
I think it might be a good idea to have that as just a point of reference, so people keep remembering this is what it's all
Yeah,
about. We're
no,
all
there's-
set.
We definitely can get that done. It's not.
Yeah, and you could say the bond planned opening December, September 2025.
Who does the renderings? Does it work? Is it,
Tyson.
do they do, they have the option to do any like walkthroughs with animations?
They might be able to do this, like a 3D walkthrough with BIM, but I don't know. We'd have to ask them.
Kind of throwing it out there.
If they give us the model, we have the goggles. Yeah.
You can do- I'm just
that you
wondering,
could
you know,
see,
maybe.
But they have to give
dimensions.
us that 3D.
Did they do a 3D model?
On this one, we're using the BIM modeling, which has some 3D, but on the level of BIM, I'd have to get back to you, because there's different levels of BIM where the 3D renderings that they do is different from what they actually do the BIM coordination against, so.
I mean, you should see those, and a walkthrough kind of thing, we can do it. Be great.
We have the equipment available to do that, and that's, if you use it, you feel like you're actually in a room.
Could you do just like a quick, maybe 10-15 second animation or video?
Yeah.
To walk through without.
Yeah, we could work something up for.
Just something put on the website, maybe
Yeah.
just like walking in and just seeing
Right,
in the entry and then. I mean, not, you haven't got a whole tour of the school, but maybe just that. open.
Yeah, I've seen it. We two projects worked on, they're great. You kind of still walk, not the whole building, but walking the entrance, just to get a feeling that this thing's going
Or
on.
being able to click around the cafeteria and look around or.
Yeah.
And view, there's some ideas out there.
yeah, no, it's definitely something that we can work on.
It sounds like the first order of business to guide kind of our communication next steps is those high level milestones. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just anything that you could think of that would be,
Yeah,
important, change the visual image basically.
we could do that. What's the time frame of, when would Devin need? When would you need it by?
I don't think it's a huge rush, but,
Yeah, I agree.
Next few weeks, I
next
guess.
month or so, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Before the
fine.
next meeting.
Yeah, because then we can pop it up and then we can, at least like you said, our people have an expectation
Yeah.
of when to, and then we're not every month trying to come up with content
That can kind of guide
that we
us.
don't
yeah.
necessarily,
And it's hopping off at a steel structure would be what, by May, June?
That would be May timeframe.
So that'd be a major, so what we should probably do is do the newsletter prior to that, May,
yes.
and then invite everybody, so make a ceremony out of that, since we're not doing a
Groundbreaking.
groundbreaking.
What is it called? What is that called?
Tom walks.
Topping off.
That's a topping off.
The breaks. So that's just for those of you that are kind of like we were talking about it and people were coming out.
It's kind of like.
So in lieu of a groundbreaking, because of our timing with the referendum and sensitivity around that, we're talking about doing this topping off ceremony, which is basically a steel beam, right? That people sign.
Oh, nice.
It's a kind of a similar, but it's actually a little bit more tangible than
Right.
a shovel in the ground, which is kind of nice and around the May-ish.
Let's be up there, Meg, kind of waving at everybody.
You put me up like a big bucket truck thing.
Maybe.
Crane.
There's Meg.
I'll do it. I'll do it for the project.
We could strap a harness on.
That would get so many hits.
I'm sure. So I think that's what we have to do is figure out that timing around when the newsletter would go out in preparation for that, thinking, I mean, I know Nelson thinks well to get exact timing around when that makes the most sense, but.
Is that pretty much to be done by a certain date in May? Because I'm backpedaling our stuff. Is there a certain date you already have for topping?
No, we don't have a date, so it's in May,
Yes.
but things fluctuate.
So that probably means end of April, getting a newsletter out. Okay.
Just to kind of give us a general timing and preparation.
Yeah, we could have some, it's pretty warm right now, but you could have some snow and whatnot, so
Yes,
pinpointing an exact date at this time.
Yeah,
It just,
just doesn't make it.
That's
Yeah.
That's sometime in May, okay.
But if we can think about targeting the newsletter in April. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Oops.
And then once we have an understanding of the overall milestone time, did my pen run out on? Did it really?
No, it's not. I have one.
Do you have one, Seth? Sorry.
Gravity's not
Oh,
working.
here. Wendy's got one.
Okay,
Try that, try it out.
Okay, thank you.
Another one, you want another one?
Oh, Farmington, okay.
All right, I think, and what is it, are we actually gonna, is that going
Thank you.
front page, landing page, these updates, do we think? How do
Um,
we wanna approach that?
yeah, I think that we can do that for our kind of status updates. I don't
Yeah.
think there's gonna be much, else that we'd want to throw up there, so. I think that's fine.
All right,
So it sounds like the major event is the topping off the steel structure for something in May
Yes.
sometime.
Yeah.
Use some celebratory kind of activity.
and then maybe in between, if there's another milestone that makes sense from a visual perspective, we can do an update then. Does that seem comfortable to everybody, like as far as keeping everybody updated and, right? That way we're not, I just don't want us to be in a conversation every month, of, oh, what kind of content we're sharing, and something of value. to Share. The Q&A will build dynamically as we hear it,
Yeah, it's,
if we hear anything.
Mhm.
I could put together 4 or 5 new questions.
Yeah.
And,
What's our engagement from a social media perspective on anything, Evan? Are we doing anything other than the chair reports?
The
Right
chair
now.
reports have been most of our Facebook posts in the last couple months.
Yep.
But we can check the demographics, the data here for.
To see what kind of, if we're getting anybody going there. I'm just thinking if we tie these updates to a social media update at the same time,
Right.
then no different new content, just a different delivery.
Is the new site map been done, which back when you never got cleaned up on the last newsletter? Remember they had the tennis courts over there and ball fields.
Not sure if we necessarily. did
Did they ever?
I don't know if we have that answer either.
What was
The
that?
new, the site, I mean, the site map.
Exactly.
And then-
I can show you some,
Yeah.
I took some aerial drone shots,
Oh, the rendering.
all the rendering.
Yeah, we worked on the old one, which was changed. We never got a new one. And
Yeah.
so we never put it in, might be good to put it in to the newsletter. So here's,
The SKP would have to provide that.
And I think.
I mean, aerial shot be nice too. I mean, yeah.
Of the, what it actually looks like
Yeah.
right now.
I have 6 aerial shots that
Hey, send them over to me, please.
they're very big.
The site map, they're huge in size.
Yeah,
probably.
I was trying to download all of them and
They just shut
it's almost
everything.
a gig.
Oh,
So I pulled, each one is 8 megs. It's not terribly big, but it just gives an overall You went back in November, December, and actually some of them were shot today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Those are aerial.
The aerial view of the current.
that'd be nice to have on the website too.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see if we can see.
So that's,
Look at that.
so this was in November. Those are the old tennis courts. We're just setting up for the trailer there. And basically,
I've never.
the site was plateaued. That was the topsoil pile, which was, overseeded, so for erosion control, and some of these plants were for this backside here, so we have them already planted in that area. Go to the next one. So, and one snowstorm that we had, so again, the old school is on this side, this is where your tennis courts were,
Oh, yeah.
so that's the underground detention, stormwater detention system. So these are all galleys. So over here, they're currently working on putting those galleys and then they cover it with stone. That was December 13th. This was December 21st. So they're further along. They're putting a drainage structure here. There's George Gibbons giving orders out. And in relation to the neighborhood, that's Briarwood. So on the backs, I'm sorry, go back to that one picture. So on this backside, that was the remaining landscaping that
Yes.
needs to be done. So those plants that were previously in the middle of it, those were all the spruces
They're
on
behind
On the
that.
other side of the fence.
Yeah.
the other side of the fence.
And we build on top, excuse me, no,
We just-
that's a dumb question. Are we build, do we build on top of this or this is not?
On top of this is parking lot.
It's part of that.
So now you see the foundation work. So this is looking back towards the trailer. So over here, they're fully backfilled.
Okay.
I believe this picture was taken on the 30th of December. So the foundation work started here. That's building A. This is the courtyard.
Yes.
It's not an enclosed courtyard, but the courtyard towards the back
Yeah.
of the building. It's like a three-sided courtyard.
Yeah.
And they're continuing on to B. And then this is the loading dock area. So this is, areas 2 and D. And then, they're gonna be working their way around. Over here, they placed the elevator pit. They placed that concrete. So the next photo.
So this actually gives us a good indication now of the distance between the school and the neighborhood.
And so this is straight down, look at the building, so building A, B, and that's where one of the elevators are located. And these are piers, so you have steel that is on the inside of the building, so they're making that. I think we have one more photo. That wasn't, that's of today. So it's a wet site.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
No dust. Let's look at that.
But you can see over here on this, you can already see that
Positive.
they placed the footings, now they're working on the walls. That's the elevator pit that I was talking about. So as they're opening up, they can't open up the entire site because of frost. They have to protect the ground so that they can place the concrete. So they have ground heaters, blankets. So they can't, the site contractor can't go too far ahead of the concrete contractor. So that's really not the nicest picture to put on a website. We could get you better ones. It's just a muddy site that you see right now. It's not the eye candy that people want to see, steel and cranes and.
well, it shows.
I like to see big equipment, and that's just, you could see where the old high school in relation and the new high school in relationship to the neighborhood.
That would be the one I'd use.
Yeah.
That's actually-
That's a good site
The
overview.
oldest.
It shows what relationship to what's going on.
The only thing I'm concerned
Yeah,
about there
and
is
old and the new, because then they have some relation. It's just seeing a
That's the only,
pit.
we just don't want to start a conversation that this tennis courts are showing.
Well, you
Yeah,
can put November,
That's the,
yeah, that's true.
That's the
Maybe-
only, that would be my only issue. I think it looks great, and I do like the perspective. It gives
I
me
might
an
have
understanding
another
of
one
tennis.
there, it doesn't.
If
Because
there's
those tennis courts were, it was the first thing that were demolished.
Yeah,
So I'll, let me,
if there's kind of
I have
close to
one
that.
probably a week later.
Okay,
that won't show.
I think that I would feel more comfortable if we put it up
Yeah,
without.
especially if it's not in a series of pictures.
Yeah.
if people can relate to it.
But I think this does give people an understanding or perspective now of, okay, that's where it sits in relation to the football field, you know, all those things.
Yeah.
I think that's helpful.
Definitely.
You want us to put it in a chronological like slideshow, like we could do a video and put it on.
I would take the first one out. I would say if we could get that single shot that Nelson's saying with the
Wait for the.
tennis, this is my opinion, with the tennis courts gone, that will give people an idea of the perspective of the site. And then maybe they wait for something a little bit more happen.
Gotcha.
I think what you can do on this, Kevin, is you take the shot we always use on the school bus.
Right.
You point an arrow, said, here's where this is gonna be. And so whatever best image we have of that, so they now their relationship, here's what this is gonna look like on this side, which is a major entrance. Which is facing, it's facing east or south. Whatever, whatever that you want, we use all the time, it's the lead one. That way you can start building the renderings on the site, so people see where this goes.
Yeah.
And as you're doing it, and that would be something that you put on the newsletter, but you can keep adding to it, Devin.
Right.
As you keep working on it, you say, well, here's what, since you're doing bike, how many buildings, building 1, 2, and 3 you're breaking down?
A, B, C. and
A, B, C?
It's the,
Okay, so that might be the way to present this then, building A, B, C. I didn't realize that's how you're doing, working it.
Yeah, for the general public, building A and B are the classroom
Right.
pods, and then C and D are more,
All right.
cafeteria. I need a
then
drawing
music,
to use it.
music room, right?
I think E is gymnasium. Then area F is the central office, the 900 wing.
Yeah, the renderings themselves, so that's only another thing too that I'm thinking about, Byron, your perspective. Again, even if we clean up what we know today, not sure if that's where the tennis courts, we still don't know. So we might need to wait just after the spring referendum,
We're not sure what with the tennis courts, if they're gonna stay there or move.
right?
Yeah.
Based on the results of the 1928
Oh,
referendum, the site will look different. So I don't know if we present a site view now rather than wait till a little bit later in the spring. Once we have a better understanding, I think this we can present because that's kind of state, but a future rendering. Maybe we want to wait a little bit. I don't know how everybody else feels about that, but. Just a little bit more of an accurate.
Yeah, I mean, we could
presentation.
show the classroom stuff, but if that main entrance, at least show,
Yeah,
so people that are drive, here's. If you want to see the relationship to this, the entrance, here's where it is. When's the 28th building, is that when they're presenting that, or is that going to referendum yet? Is that-
No, April, right?
Supposed to be, with the budget in April, the end of April. We're still waiting for the dollars, like the number for it, so, that might impact if it'll have to be pushed back, but if it was to be pushed back, it'd probably be in June.
Okay.
Have they done schematics and programming, what they want to have in there yet?
It's still,
Work in progress?
a work in progress,
Okay.
but they're moving along.
Yeah, we'll have to keep away from it.
Well, that's what I'm just saying, we got some stuff to show, let's
Yeah, we-
see how long we can.
Just to show progress.
Right,
just to show-
exactly.
That's a whole separate group, right? You're not involved in any of that.
We have representatives. That's Chris Fagan, John,
Okay.
we got a lot of people
You know,
seeing what's going on out there. Yeah,
how's it looking? Come again?
we'll see.
You know how I feel.
We'll see.
Doesn't matter.
Victoria. Okay, all right, so I think this, we got kind of a plan of attack on this general communication. I think
Till
that's
springtime,
good.
it seems like, yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
we know we're gonna do some major thing in May.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to get this timeline and calendar cleaned up.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
And we wanna get, a good site map like that and not just.
And I think that we can get something like that up there for people to see the progress.
And then you can use Facebook and everything. Are you tracking the use of Facebook and all that stuff?
We can look into the,
You might want to push it a little bit more. Get people-
Well, I think now that we have content
Yeah,
to share up until this point, you could watch our meetings, I think they're really exciting.
everything that goes out through all the schools, to let people know that once Devin gets some new stuff up there that they can, like, people aware of it.
We have a parent square is our new platform, so we can.
Might be good, at least like through, they can see,
Which is great, by the way. I really like it.
Good.
I'm the
Which one
most
do you- what do you-
engaged using whatever you're doing right now is great. I mean,
Yeah.
Friday folders I like too, but that's fed right to me, which is
What
awesome.
do you use, the app or use the text or email?
Oh, good.
I get the text,
Yeah.
I look at the email, and then, but I don't regularly check the app.
You don't go to the app for the feed.
There's an app, because the Friday folders I find a little too
Like static.
too crowded. There's
Mm.
too much even old information.
Yeah.
I see how it's, there's, the new items are bold, but there's just a lot of
There is,
information.
yeah, I noticed that.
But if there's an app,
Yeah, well, you can get the text push, you can get the email push, or you can go to the app and it's like kind of like a social media, like a feed. Where you scroll on the feed.
I'll have to have my check on
That
that.
goes to
because
Yeah,
it's definitely,
and then they
Yeah.
can choose what they want, like which they want the text, what they want, you can choose how many different ways you want the information pushed to you.
Great.
So all of them are great.
Yeah.
So, because if I forget about the text and I'm looking at email, but at least it gives me, but immediately
Yeah.
when something,
the text
Goes up.
actually for me would be the best,
Yeah.
because you always see a text instead of getting onto an app.
so.
But
Yeah,
we
I
can
don't
do
want
something like
to, I
that.
also don't want to overuse it for you guys either. I know you're probably cautious on how much you push out when, so. We can check, maybe we just.
But
do-
I can talk to Kathy about like, when we do a superintendent's update next one, it's a logical thing that possibly. Pop in as a update on the building project. and where we're at.
Yeah, I think just timely, that we don't need to bombard people with, but I think that would be good. The other thing that I want to make sure we talked about today, and Nelson, you're kind of critical to this conversation as well, is the neighborhood communication. So I know, Devin, are we all set up for them to?
there is a sign up on our website. I can double check the number of signups we had. I think we only had about 6 people sign up for it.
Okay,
But that's,
it's 6
at
people we
least some
committed.
people, right, and they
Yeah.
can communicate out through their, their Highlands Facebook page and whatnot, so.
That group still active.
Have the Facebook pages.
Oh, yeah, that's really active.
Yeah.
I'm not on it, I hear about it.
Exactly.
So you do separate meetings with them? every so
Well,
often?
we don't do separate meetings, but we had talked a little bit about how we keep them engaged, give them updates timely. This is the big conversation. We have like, they have to be timely and relevant updates. Again, it's not at a certain cadence or anything else. It's like, if they need to know something, we're gonna let them know, but we probably need to do a, hey, thank you for signing up to this email. This is what we're gonna get these emails on based on the work that's being done, kind of thing.
So I assume when the steel structure goes up, there'll be a little more activity and noise, so they make them aware of that.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's anything else prior to that that we need to inform them of.
Yeah, it's just gonna give them general,
Just let them know,
this is what's happening.
and no jackhammer.
Construction is- There's no construction that is not noisy, but we try to mitigate, or at least if there's gonna be something that's disruptive, we'll do it off hours. But being that we're on a standalone, it's more like when we're impacting school activities, but if there's something that,
Well, people always notice when I see a crane, a tall crane,
yeah,
that's when, oh God, what they doing? Those are little indicators.
Yeah.
Like, hang on.
So I think if we at least commit to that, to get in the initial communication out to the 6 or however many people we have to say, thank you for signing off. We appreciate it. This is when, how and when you'll receive
What to
updates.
expect, to see cranes and
Right.
other activities and.
Yeah.
In the neighborhood there are eyes and ears too, we're not on site. During off hours, if I see something going on, they can communicate with us.
Yeah. And we still have the direct contact information, I think, for you, right? And,
That's all from George.
yeah,
So that's all up there. I just double check, it's actually 3 people that signed up. So, but yeah, we'll get that initial message out and, just don't stay.
and maybe once they hear from us, then they might mention it to somebody else, and then we can keep it going, but if we committed to it, then we should do it. Okay, the other thing I know we talked about too was possibly having community meetings more regularly based on the ones we have had, not referendum related, just regular project status, communications. Is that something we think we should continue?
We have no problem with it. Actually, yesterday, George went to the teacher's staff meeting and gave them a quick 5-minute
Oh, good.
update as far as what was going on. And Russ provided some photos, or we provided some photos, and there were 3 photos. I think it went well, what George told.
It might, this might tie around what you want to do when we're gonna top off the thing. That might be a time to, this phase is, done, and I can't think of it going out there unless, what people need to know, but other than seeing progress. They just want progress reports
Yeah.
to do it.
So maybe we hold off on a communication or like a community meeting. For any reason.
Yeah.
They probably heard enough. It's right now.
Yeah, I would tie it around,
Enough of you then.
kind of milestones.
Okay,
This is in, they're putting in, they're building it out now, whatever the case may be.
Maybe like biannual or.
Yeah,
quarterly or
twice a
whatever.
year.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe twice a year, unless there's a need, but maybe we think about it twice a year.
Worst case, we can put in a newsletter, if you hear some highlight, and maybe with the topping off, you say, if you want to come to the meeting afterwards, tied together. I don't know, something, make it just make sense.
Yeah.
Or a more detailed update via, do we have an email list or would we just use?
We have
Square?
the chair report list.
Right.
Right.
So,
Maybe
yeah.
if the referendum does go late April, that's right around the same time as topping off, maybe after those couple of things are done. you can give them
That's
that.
a good idea, kind of a
Email.
combined approach on that.
The Parents Bureau will hit will hit the K-12 community.
Right,
Yeah.
which is a lot, but not everyone. in the
Not
community,
everybody,
obviously.
Then
Yeah,
Devin's
yeah.
got Everbridge. and everything.
Oh, that's right,
Oh,
right.
that's right, we could do that as well.
I don't know if that's an appropriate use of it or not.
Yeah, no, that'd be fine with there's a group within Everbridge that signs up for just general government updates.
Yeah.
So that would be probably the appropriate channel.
And then you have the list that specifically want,
The
building committee.
Yep.
Any other outlets or thoughts or anything that's else in the meantime that we can think of? Good, right, I think we've got that's a good approach. Anything you guys have seen people do that we're missing and from a communication perspective? No. If you let us know, I mean, if there's like something that you've seen that's super effective that we're not thinking of or an approach.
I don't know if there's no Instagram, like this as an Instagram. People tend to use that.
Building committee?
Can't remember.
I think we might have set one
I
up,
think we did.
but I don't know that we ever really posted on it, but we, look into that.
Yeah, it's whatever, it's not really new content, and if it's picture, I guess.
Right.
all
Yeah, that's
better.
I don't Instagram, but I know people that do.
Well, I think you can, it's actually, I don't know why it doesn't go the other way.
I have
You
an
can
account
post on
set up,
Instagram.
set up, I haven't logged in.
Because again, you could put
A year and a half.
Yeah.
No one's got-
It has to go that way versus the other way.
Yeah, that's what
We've done- I'm not sure that we've done it.
I haven't checked it, there's
But I know.
little notification that people that took something 6 months ago, I'm like, sorry, I'm not ignoring you.
All right, so maybe we can take a
Yeah.
look, maybe the next meeting, Devin, that's something we can take a look at as what kind of approach.
It's Devin and Kat, you guys run social media?
Yes,
Yeah, we, And we actually just hired someone in the town manager's office who's kind of specializing in communications.
Okay.
She has a marketing background, communications background, so she might be able to help us out with some of this as well.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, so that's
Spent a long
back
time
when
on it.
when I was
That's
saying,
cool.
if you post
That's
onto Instagram, you can just click on a button and it goes straight into Facebook, so it's one posting.
Right.
Yeah. Saves
Yeah, that'd be
time.
nice.
Yeah.
But you can't edit your pictures in Instagram, I just discovered that.
You don't wanna
I mean, you
post
can't
it.
change it once
You
you
can't
put
change
it.
it, you can't change your pictures, but you can change the text.
Yeah.
There's like in Facebook, you can actually change your
You can change everything.
everything, but you can't do it in Instagram.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, they got you.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. So I think we got a couple things. So right now we're scheduled, are we still scheduled to have these meetings in conjunction with every building committee meeting?
Correct.
We'll keep it that way because I just think from a timing perspective, I think we're probably going to need maybe to do one a month. I don't think we need to do two
Yeah.
a month for communications, but maybe based on timing, we can make a decision on which of the two makes the most sense.
I mean, I'm in touch with Devin pretty regularly.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
additional updates.
We go through stuff and as long as material, they're just getting material, if it's a little overload from everybody, we just catalog it. Decide when we want to use it because there'll become a point you want to put a really, really nice slide deck together, presentation.
Yeah, at least you have content.
And all that content to do, I always saw that. And then, you know, when it gets to May, you got, there's a highlight, what happened the last year.
Right.
Then just think onto the fiscal years of the town.
And I forget what you said about groundbreaking, when we're kind of gearing up for that, and then. Do you think this group would kind of be the planning group for the topping off?
I think so, maybe with a few community members
Mhm.
helping us out, I think that might be a good way for us to do that.
Yeah, we can think some activities of topping off.
Yeah.
Other, seeing the beam in place.
Yeah.
We actually can put the beam in place at that point. When we're at the topping off,
Pardon me?
are they gonna put the beam, the final beam at that point?
Yeah,
Okay,
we'd have the
so there's something visual to take and.
sign
Okay.
it, then the crane would hoist it all in the same event.
Yeah, get the media a little more engaged with that.
Oh, I'm sure they, yeah.
Okay, like,
Yeah, so the committee needs to get media lined up and
Yeah.
Now,
invitation.
the beam could be signed prior, so you don't have.
Oh,
Yeah,
Line of people.
75
You don't want everyone up there signing it, okay.
It was just a crane operator waiting there with me.
Yeah,
I've seen one where they put a beam when they had the whole high school kids, everyone signed it, everyone would sign it,
can you imagine that?
pretty big.
Just gotta make
You
sure
want
that
the
they
right notes to
that they sign it appropriately.
I know.
and not-
Oh, you said,
All right. Anything else? We feel pretty good about communications. I think this makes me feel better, like just level setting for the year, what we're doing for the next, at least through the beginning of the spring. I think we're in good shape. All right, anything else? No, all right, Wendy, motion to adjourn, motion to adjourn. Second, all in favor? Aye. All right, 4:45, we will adjourn.